Thanks for joining me, Cancer. It's June 2020, Dadhichi here with your Oracle Express, as I call it. It's a very important month this month. We're going to get the chart rolling here. Later on, we're going to see that the new moon is taking place here in your sun sign this month against the backdrop of a whole lot of retrograde planets, as you can see here. And that shows for all of us, really, this revisionary period, this reappraisal of our lives. And Cancer, your sun sign is no less implicated in that, but with some even greater highlights for you, which I'm going to identify in a moment. Keep your eye here on the moon as it transits around, especially there in the 6th house. On the 6th, we have this full moon taking place. There you go. It begins the phase there on the 5th. Gets stronger here in the 6th house. 6th house has to do with health, disease, debts, enemies, all of these sorts of things, especially when we look at this south node, which is the past karma that we have in life. Really going back and analysing your part in why we've had the problems that we have. And looking at that, I think you're going to learn a lot. Look at that there on the 8th. The moon makes a conjunction to Pluto, Jupiter. They're in your 7th house of relationships. And it's in the opposition to Mercury. And I want you to look at Mercury as well, because a little later on, this planet is also going to go retrograde. Mercury for you is this 12th house of spirituality, and also the 3rd house of communication, education, that type of thing. It's not a friendly planet for you. So as soon as you see the little S and R occur here on the transit of this planet, that is when some of your communications and some of the activities in your life will start to move into a tailspin. Someone could throw a spanner in the works, and you have to be very, very careful with your negotiation. Now, it's not for every sign, but the retrogression of Mercury for you definitely has an impact on your contracts, your agreements, your negotiations, travel plans, all of those sorts of things. Speaking of travel plans, there on the 13th and 14th, when the moon makes contact with Mars and Neptune in the 9th house of long journeys, there can be some disputes, misunderstandings. On the 15th, it moves through your 10th house, career. There are some challenges at this mid part of the month, as you can see here by the moon transiting these difficult planets. Here it's between Uranus and Mars. This is a what we call a configuration of duress. Your mind may be a little bit worried about work until it moves past this conjunction on the 18th, 17th, 18th, past Uranus. Something unexpected may happen there with your friendships. That's going to be an ongoing situation. Take a look here. There's the stationary moment of Mercury, your communication planet, happening just at the time when the moon is making contact there in your social sector. Retrogression takes place there around the 20th. So I'd say if you have to, commit to anything, you should do that prior to, say, the 17th or the 18th, before this planet goes retrograde. If it's retrograde, you better just hold those papers, those documents, if you can. Look into the fine print. And there's the big one I was getting you to look out for. That's the new moon in your sun sign this month on the 22nd. Again in retrogression there with that Mercury. This is time to turn over a new leaf. You are looking at doing new things. There may be some fear associated with that. We talked about that last month. The North Node here, which is a very notorious planet for causing all sorts of hysteria or worry or concerns over things. It has moved out of your sun sign. It's moved to the quieter area of your horoscope, into the same sign as Venus. We mentioned Venus was retrograde as well. It's going stationary forward, which is good. That's got to do with your domestic arena. But getting back to this notion of changing yourself, it's sort of like a facelift, only on the inside, really changing who you are. The Mars opposition to the moon there is also an important transit. It moves there into the 10th house and then continues its influence on your 4th house of family and domestic affairs on the 28th, 29th, and the last day of the month, the 30th. That fear is leaving you. You have the opportunity to recreate who you are, to become whatever you want to be under this transit. I'm not saying that's going to happen overnight. The 5th house is a buoyant aspect. You notice here there's a lovely triangular aspect to both the Sun and Mercury on the last day of the month to your sun sign. We notice here also that the Sun is moving into what we call the solar return. So a few of you will be having your birthdays at this time, so happy birthday to those of you born around the latter part of June, your late June Cancerians. The final thing I wanted to point out is this is an excellent start to the next month, which we'll get to next month. But Mars in the 10th house has really, really great directional strength. It affords you the opportunity to achieve a lot in your work. So you should throw your hat in the ring if there's some opportunity presenting itself right now. Don't forget to join me there at astrology.com.au. I've got all sorts of other readings there that you can use to supplement this one, which is a very brief one. The daily, weekly, monthly and yearly readings are available there. The monthly one will supplement this one with the chronological date of transits. Drop me a line if you're looking to have a personal reading. I'm more than happy to get into the nitty-gritty of your horoscope from the time and place you're born. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.